Hey Warrior Friends, Mrs. Armstrong here with you today, and I am so excited to introduce to you shelf number 4. Second grade is such an exciting time because in second grade you finally get to move beyond shelf 1, 2, and 3, and you get to move over to shelf number 4. So before I start to show you some of the books that are on shelf number 4, I want to point something out that's on the end of shelf 4, and that is this poster. This is our end cap. The end cap is the end of our shelf where we can hang information. And you'll notice that on our end cap poster, I have a red side and a yellow side. On the red side of shelf number 4, which is this side over here, we have books, chapter books that are going to be levels J, K, and L. When you move over to this side of the shelf, on the yellow side, you're going to find books that are going to be L, M's, and N's. So you might keep that in mind when you come over today to look at the chapter books for the very first time. But let's take a closer look at what books you can find on some of these shelves. Let's start by taking a quick glance at shelf number 4. On the side that is red, at far end of the shelf, you'll see that we have our easy biographies. You'll know that this is the easy biography section because of the gray shiny tape that's around the edge of that shelf. So if you're looking for a chapter book, the easy biographies are probably not the section you want to look in. A biography, of course, is a nonfiction book that gives you facts and information about a person. If you're looking for a chapter book, you're going to want to move down the shelf a little bit to these books right here. Notice that all of them have a red spine label on them. Let's take a closer look at what you're going to find here. All right, let's take a closer look at some of the books you're going to find on the shelf number 4 on the red side. First of all, you'll notice it says Easy Chapter Book Fiction up here. You'll notice that all my spine labels are red. When you're on the side of the shelf that is red, this is where you're going to find levels J, K, and L. Some of the series that we have here, we have chapter books that are the Berenstain Bears. We have a series called Cork and Fuzz. These are 2 animal friends. We have the Pee-wee Scout series, which is kind of a fun, realistic fiction. We have Mercy Watson, great, hilarious stories about a pig. And a very, very popular series, The Owl Diaries, is on this side. The Owl Diaries are kind of like a graphic novel on the inside. Lots of pictures, lots of graphics, but still lots of words to read in The Owl Diaries. We also have Iris and Walter, which is a boy and a girl that are friends. We have the Princess Black series. And we also have the Pinky and Rex series. Again, a boy and a girl that are friends. As I slide down to the last section of red books, we have book series like Andy Shane. We have a series about Boris the Pig. We have, of course, Frog and Toad. It's a classic story. Katie Woo is a new series of books in our library that have been very popular. We also have book series like Missy, and they all start with a title like Missy Super Duper Royal Deluxe. This is the field trip book. We have Amelia Bedelia, which of course Amelia Bedelia is another one of those classic books. If you want something funny to read, you can't go wrong with Amelia Bedelia. We have Nate the Great on this side. We have Annie and Snowball. Now Annie and Snowball, Henry and Mudge, and Mr. Potter and Tabby are all written by the same author. Her name is Cynthia Reliant, and she has 3 really fantastic book series on this side of the shelf for you to read. To cap off or to end this area of the library, I also have Oliver and Amanda, which is a chapter book, Story with Pigs as the main character. I have beginning chapter books of the Boxcar Children, also a classic series of books that have been around for a really long time. Lots of great books over here on the red side of shelf number 4. Now let's take a look at the other side of the shelf. This is the yellow side of the shelf. On the yellow side of the shelf, you'll see that all my books have a yellow spine label. And on the yellow side, you're going to find books that are levels L, M, and N. So let's take a look at what you can find over here. We have book series like Roscoe Riley Rules, good funny stories to read. We have a ton of the Critter Club series, each book about an animal rescue. We also have a whole series here that's called the Erie Elementary, an elementary school that's kind of haunted. We have a very popular action-adventure series called the Last Firehawk series. Another really popular series that we probably have 10 or 15 of is the Heidi Heckelbacks. We have the Bailey School Kids series. In each of these, the kids at the school are suspicious that somebody at the school is not who they say they are. For example, this one is called Dracula Doesn't Drink Lemonade. They seem to think that everybody at the school is either Dracula or Cupid or some sort of fictitious character. We also have a series called The Little Wings. Down on the bottom, we also have the Polk Street Kids, which is also a realistic fiction story. Okay, moving on down to the middle section here of the yellow books, we have a group of books called Ready Freddy. We have the Horrible Harry collection. Lots of good funny stories with Horrible Harry. We also have, you may remember Arthur and D.W. That was a picture book. We have chapter books about Arthur. We have a good funny series called Lunaverse. And then on the next shelf, we have the very popular books, Judy Moody. And there are quite a few Judy Moody books over here on the shelf. And we have a series of books called The Little Wings. This is the Rainbow Magic Fairy series. On my bottom shelf, which you probably can't see very well in this shot, I have a series of about 15 books that are called Galaxy Zack. And we have the classic books that have been around for a very, very long time, the Magic Tree House series. Now, let's move on to the next section. All right, and on the last section of shelf number 4 on the yellow side, we have the classic, has been around for a long time and has been making kids laugh for a very long time, the Junie B. Jones series. And we have a lot of Junie B's. We also have a series called The Littles, and then in The Littles, all the characters are about an inch or two tall, and they go on a lot of adventures. We also have a series of books that are called Ricky Ricotta, the Mighty Robot. We have a series of books called The Dragon Masters, that's down on the bottom. We also have chapter books from the Little House on the Prairie series. The original chapter books of Little House on the Prairie are really, really long books, but what they've done is they've taken one piece out of some of those original books and made them into smaller chapter books so that beginning chapter readers can start to enjoy the Little House on the Prairie series. And then the last thing that I have over here is a group of Sports Illustrated Kids series, and these are more of a graphic novel and not necessarily a chapter book, but that we put it on shelf number 4 because a lot of these are in that LMN reading level range. So that's an introduction of some of the books that you're going to find on shelf number 4. Please remember, there are 2 sides to shelf number 4. The red side, you're going to find levels J, K, and L. And on the yellow side, you will find L, M, and N level books. So depending on what your reading level is, as to what side of the shelf you want to start looking at. I hope you guys enjoy some of these new chapter books today.